Hi guys, just going to sit quietly for a minute. Can everybody hear me? This is obviously a cup of tea. That's what tea should look like. Can you hear me? Can someone say, good. Yes sir, perfect. Good to see you all guys. Sorry it's been a little while, but I was sick as a dog for the last few days. I'm literally just feeling human again. Not quite, I'm pretty tired. Looking good, thank you, EverGrow Stimmer. I'm not feeling good, but I'm feeling better than I was. I think everybody who's had food poisoning knows how awful it is. Okay, so the problem with these video things is they only work on the phone. So if I'm doing this a lot, it means I keep having to refresh the screen so I can see the questions. Okay, so we've got quite a lot of people on, which is good. That's my pleasure for doing this. I know you guys like this. Obviously, I come from the normal business world, where you update shareholders once a quarter, not 17 times an hour. But, I get it. I get why people want to do this stuff. But you've got to also be realistic. I spent a lot of time on Twitter yesterday, mainly because I was not feeling well enough to do much else. So, yeah, do retweet this chat if you can, so that we can get lots of people tuned in. Because I think it's really important for our community to get a really good update. So if everybody can retweet this link, which I assume can be done. I've only done this once before, so I'm not an expert on it. I'm just going to log in on my laptop so I can actually try and see what's going on, see what you guys can see. So if I click that, it might actually help me see the questions. Can you guys see the questions, or is it just me that can see them? Because I'm logged in on my other account and I can't see the questions. Retweet button is to the right of the text box. You can see them too. Good, because I can't see them on my laptop, which would be a lot easier than trying to read them on my phone. Thank you, Sassy Lassie. Can anyone see them on the desktop, the questions? Yeah, I'm feeling much better than I was. I was on death's door. Okay. So up to 300. Okay, cool. So you can't see. So I think, is it right that you can only see the questions if you're on mobile? Is that right, guys? In case anyone else is wondering why they can't see the questions. Okay, so that helps everyone. So anyone tuning in on desktop, you won't be able to see the questions. We also, the community, as always, the community team working really hard, and they've sent me a big old list of questions. So I think what I'll do, I've got enough questions to talk for about 3 hours here. So what I'll do is I'm just going to talk quickly about EverGrow, really about the background. Hold on, can someone help Crypto Control find this video? I think he doesn't realize it's on the main account. If you guys are friends with Thomas, he's just messaged me saying he can't see it. Anyways, it'd be good for him to record it. Right, so let me talk quickly about the last 6-7 months, okay? So for those who don't know, when I saw the EverGrow contract, I contacted the devs and I said, listen guys, this was one of the questions, by the way, that we got, when did I become the chairman? Who had the role before? First of all, there was no chairman. There were the founders, the devs, effectively, and their big team of, marketing guys and devs, basically. There was no sort of distinct, project leader, but I could see that we had a really special contract. I still believe our contract is the best contract in the business. I think overcomplicating a contract is not a good idea. And I think the fact that we've been going for 7 months and have never had to upgrade our contract. You only upgrade a contract when you need to, not because you want to. Upgrading a contract is a complete nightmare. And I'm sure one day we will do it, possibly. We have never upgraded the contract. So hopefully we won't have to do that for a long time. So basically, the guys launched the project As you guys know, I was an investor like everybody else. I wasn't part of the team, and I contacted them and I said, look, you've got something special here. I've been monitoring crypto for years, trying to find a project that I could get behind with my experience of running a very successful investment firm and other businesses. And bear in mind, I'm also directors and advisors to the board on other companies, tech companies, and other involvements in business over the years. So when I see a decent opportunity and recognize it, I contacted them, and I believe it was within about 2 weeks that I was formally announced as the chairman. Technically, my role is a non-executive chairman. That means I oversee the board and I guide the project. Obviously, lots of people say, oh, Sam's the CEO, etc. I left that role open. I don't need the ego of being called CEO. If we found some amazing experience, perhaps like someone from a big tech company who would come in and support our team, with me included as well, obviously, I wouldn't go anywhere, to be the CEO of EverGrow, I'd be very happy to put someone in that position, to work with them, because it could only help the project. So I talked to them about becoming chairman so I could help guide the project. So that's how I got involved a couple of weeks in. So then we had from that point on, I think we had about 8 weeks of just dealing with the craziness, guys. This project blew up. Everybody recognized that the contract was probably the best ever in the business, and it blew up. And we had 8 weeks of madness. We had 8 weeks of building community teams, dealing with things like CMC, getting listings on things. Everything takes a huge amount of work in crypto. Because to be honest, a lot of the organizations, the big businesses in crypto are incredibly hard to communicate with. If there's errors, they're impossible to fix. You have to send 20 emails to get a simple thing fixed. A lot of things have to be done sort of through the back end, so it can be really hard to get anything done. So I'd say we spent about 8 weeks building up our community team. I believe our community team is by far the best in the business. We have an amazing team of community leaders. They have an amazing team of managers underneath. We have 75 people in total giving round-the-clock care. I do not believe we have a better team. So, over those 8 weeks, we were dealing with exchanges, we were dealing with technicalities. Obviously, we then realized, so this is coming to the important part. So at launch, there was a very basic roadmap. No one really cared about the roadmap at launch. They cared about the rewards, okay? There was a very basic roadmap. And the roadmap had some, can I say, pretty shitty utilities built into it. And this is not me being critical of the devs, but I don't think anybody quite realized when that contract was released just how groundbreaking it was, okay? So the project had to effectively, have another look and go, look, we've got something really special here. We can't just release a template content creation platform. We can't just buy a template NFT marketplace that costs $2,000 and launch it, in November, because it would have done a little bit of personalization, etc. Yeah, we could have launched it in November. It would have been crappy. No one would have used it. No one would have wanted to use it, okay? So over those 8 weeks, we were sorting all this logistical nightmare out. We were working 20 hours a day, the whole lot of us. No one was sleeping. We were building the project, building the team, doing huge amounts of marketing, which still actually goes on. I don't think people are quite aware. We're quite subtle with how we market. I said, look, let's just reinvent this project now. Look, we have the best contract in the business. Let's create the best project in the business to go with it. And it was at the end of December, and I don't think people realize this, which was about, I think, 8 to 10 weeks after I got involved, where we released the new roadmap. And we said, listen, forget the stuff that was going to come out in November. It wasn't good enough. So, and I appreciate maybe not a lot of people know this. Maybe not a lot of people were around at the beginning. They didn't follow. So they're all now confused, asking questions, thinking we've been working on the NFT marketplace for 7 months and things like this. So that's when we added a huge amount of things. We added exchange. We added wallet. We completely overhauled the NFT marketplace. Creator was something far more than it was meant to be. Okay. So then, we're at the end of December. If you allowed us to have a day off for New Year's Eve, we then started working on getting the design team together, which took a few weeks, and starting to build all the designs for everything, and then move on to the development. So people are saying we've had 7 months. That's not true. Everything that is going to go live in the next sort of 6 to 9 months has been fully designed. And that's not an easy task. I'm talking about hundreds of pages of actually workable designs where you can click through and see where they go on the next page. Create all those assets for those designs. everything for the exchange. I could now show you exactly what the exchange looks like. I could click through and show you every page of it, and it's amazing. It's beautiful. You know, everything we're making is beautiful. The NFT marketplace is the best looking marketplace on the planet, and when it's fully finished, it will have more features than any existing marketplace. So it'll be the best looking with the most features, and it'll have the lowest fees because it's on BSC. Okay, so the first chain we're launching, which is also one of the questions, will be BSC. Lowest price, best looking. Okay, sure. Someone said in one of the questions something along the lines of, what's the point of an NFT marketplace when that market is failing? So the truth about that market is OpenSea had their biggest ever volume day within the last 10 days, and it was $500 million of volume in one day. So OpenSea is not failing, NFT is not failing. I think perhaps the days of selling a JPEG for $250,000 is not going to, be around much longer. But, that it doesn't mean that there's not still value in these art. It means you may not just get this ridiculously hyped price. But guys, NFTs go way, way, way beyond JPEGs. Like, NFTs are non-fungible tokens. They represent data. They can be legal contracts. They can be the contract for purchase of the house. They can be countless things. And we want to provide a marketplace that creates the ability for people in a really nice environment and low costs, low gas fees, to buy and sell and mint NFTs. Stop thinking NFTs are just some JPEG of a gorilla, because they're not, guys. NFTs are where we're going, is where maybe many, many things that you haven't even imagined are going. That's why we didn't want to use the word NFT in the title as well, because we didn't want to cubbyhole ourselves. We wanted to use, coming up with that brand, we wanted to use something that was a very open concept, that was just a feeling, like Lunar Sky. I think it's a beautiful name, but that brand took us weeks to come up with, weeks, and then the logos took us a long time. Anyway, so that's the background. So effectively, since around about the middle to late January, we were starting to push really hard to get the designs for everything ready and to move into development, okay? So it's not that we were developing everything from the 1st of October, 2 days after the project launched. And you know what? The truth is, only in crypto I've invested in startup companies a number of times. I'm quite a prolific seed investor, so, I invest in companies. I've never in my life badgered a CEO to say what's going on with this, that, the other. Normally, companies don't work in this environment. It doesn't exist. It exists in crypto. And the truth is, unless you're just going to buy something off the shelf, you cannot create you cannot create a utility, an original utility, in a matter of weeks or months even. It is impossible. So when you've seen projects, this is not a criticism of projects, this is me explaining something. When a project, after 6 weeks or 8 weeks, launches a utility, it means they paid $3,000 or $4,000 for that utility, and they had it white labeled. It means their utility doesn't offer anything fresh or new. We could do that, guys. If you want me to buy 4 off-the-shelf utilities, name 5 projects you want us to replicate, and we'll go and spend $20,000 and launch those utilities in a month. And they won't be good because they're exactly the same as everyone else's. And this is where we wanted to make it real. Is this an AMA or a monologue? Guys, a lot of these questions were questions, but I will move on to the questions. But it is a little bit of a monologue right now because I spent 8 hours getting abuse yesterday for people who probably don't understand where we are in this project, don't understand what this project is about. So I think it's really important. You've asked me to be honest and explain where the project is, and I'm telling you where it is. We have a full budget to produce beautiful utilities that you guys own. So another question from Bridge Guy 5446 on one of the socials was, whose intellectual property is the project? So look, we're in the middle of the company formation at the moment, and the project is owned by you guys, okay? So it's all intellectual property, ownership of the contract, etc., is going to be signed over to EverGrow Limited, okay? To answer that question, so EverGrow Limited will own the project. How long had the project been running for you? Took the chairman role, as I said, it was a couple of weeks old. Who had the role before you? Nobody did. Right, let's jump on to these live questions. It's really hard on the phone. I don't know how to scroll back and see more questions. Okay, so I'm going to scroll right the way back and see if. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about SafeMoon, guys, because it's a very tough subject at the moment, and I think out of respect for the SaveMe army, who I know a lot of us are either friends with or part of. I don't think it's the right thing to talk about SaveMe. All I hope is that they can resolve everything, because they're an amazing community and I don't want to see them lose money or fail. Did you get a huge bag of SaveMe for the crappy billboard campaign? No, we did pay SaveMe for the listing and for the campaign, and that's the end of it. I don't think the campaign was necessarily particularly successful, in my honest opinion, but I don't think anyone did anything dishonest. Right, let me jump in here. Okay, so DigiFinex, man, this is stressful, and I think we are pushing to try to get answers. But the truth is, we were provided with some data without evidence. We created market-making wallets that DigiFinex were meant to use, okay? And then when it came to the volume, the real volume numbers, basically, and no one's going to want to hear this, but I think everybody knows that this is, that this is not a good thing, because the price has fallen like a huge amount. Remember, DigiFinex didn't exist to any investor 3 or 4 weeks ago. This was just a little bonus thing that was pretty exciting. It's not the fundamentals of our project. But look, in short, the numbers they came back with were absolutely tiny. And they said that they'd been using other market-making accounts that we don't have access to and that we cannot audit to do a huge amount of trading. And we said, well, that should not have happened. And I can't say too much for legal reasons, but I do not believe we are the only project who are having this problem, okay? So listen, all I can say is we've sent dozens of messages. We've been strong, we've been insistent. This is not just us. I know you guys will be like, oh, this is EverGrow screwing up, because you also think EverGrow are responsible for the entire crypto market being down 65%. But listen, guys, I'm just being honest with you. We didn't want to come back to you until we had answers. We still don't have answers. We may have to request that an independent audit company in Singapore audit DigiFinex to get the numbers for us, okay? As I said, I've got to be careful what I say. Sometimes you can't share information when you don't have the answers. And this is where we are with DigiFinex. And as I said, I don't believe that we're the only project affected, but I can't really say much more. I'd love Lunar Sky to compete with OpenSky. I think you mean OpenSea. But yeah, I think we have a chance to build up really exciting. Are there any concerns that the NFT marketplace will be saturated by the time it comes out? No, I don't, because I think the NFT marketplace needs something like Lunar Sky. It needs something effectively that's going to be deemed independent from the big exchanges. Something that's designed to be really user-friendly and beautiful, and also something that's going to be super low cost. So can we buy OpenSea? OpenSea's probably worth somewhere in the region of $40-50 billion of the amount of revenue they generate. That just goes to show. So like I said, if all the questions have disappeared. Man, this is such a terrible system. All I can do is scroll up and down on my iPhone, but the questions have all just disappeared for some reason. This is a really bad system. Okay. This is so shoddy. I cannot see the questions anymore, because I don't think they really thought this through. One new message. No, click on my iPhone, but I can't see any questions. No. Let me just let it scroll. Okay. Yeah, the marketplace will eventually be multi-chain, but at the moment we're just launching it on BSC, because there's no point launching on Ethereum because Ethereum is too expensive, no one's going to use it. Are you 100% divested from Chorus Financial? I own Chorus Financial. It's a firm that I founded 7 years ago. I still own it. I spend very little time on it. If the guys running it contact me and they need help, I'll help them, but I'm working full-time on EverGrow now. Incidentally, I've transferred, hundreds of clients, $70-80 million of assets under management to other advisors so I can support EverGrow. Let me just scroll back. It's gone very black on my screen here, and I don't know why. DigiFinex volume error question mark. Is that due to the incomplete explanation of 12% tax? No, it's not. The 12% tax is as simple as it sounds. They should have taken 12% tax off every buy and sell. But what they're saying is that the volume wasn't real. in a word. I can't say too much more about it, because I don't want to get sued. Let me just drink some tea. I'm just trying to scroll up because I don't want to miss questions that were already asked, but maybe I'll just start from the bottom. When is the website update? Well, we're going to hopefully have something pretty cool for you on that relatively soon. But again, don't be asking when. At this stage, no one said there's going to be anything changing with the website. Right, so I'm just going to read new messages now because it's, the roadmap will be updated. But what I didn't want to do, and Paul is saying this and he's correct, if I suddenly just moved all the goalposts on the website, I'd be accused of being dishonest. So, it can't win. Let's just leave what we were trying to achieve on there. Let's carry on. Oh, incidentally, with the with the exchange tokenomics, we are going to resolve that and get Bitmart to do it. So even if DigiFinex doesn't end up being as successful as we'd hoped it to be, we do know that Bitmart volume is far more reliable. So we would expect Bitmart tokenomics to be introduced soon with some promotion. The only reason it hasn't really happened is because we're just desperately trying to push Lunar Sky. What's going on with Crater? Effectively, listen, this is a good question. What's going on with Crater? And this kind of sums up some important stuff. When we realized that Lunar Sky and Crater were such big builds, we said, what's gonna actually contribute directly to the pockets of EverGrow holders quicker? Crater, which will require building up, it will require a lot of spend to get celebrities on. They might not have to pay any fees for like a month or two. And you guys are thinking you'll make millions of dollars on Crater in the first week. That doesn't happen. Social media platforms take a long, long time to generate revenue. So we sat down and strategically said, let's focus everything on Lunar Sky. Let's get Lunar Sky beautiful. Let's get it launched in a big way. And it's the most... Exactly. Someone just said better to launch the most viable product. Okay. And to be honest, I think people don't get that NFT marketplaces can be incredibly profitable. Whereas social media eventually can be giant companies, and we still have huge faith with Crater. But if you want quicker revenue, especially with our launch promotion, we haven't told you what's going to be accompanied with the EverGrow Man collection, what's going to make people spend around $1 million plus on the EverGrow Man collection. Although they're very beautiful NFTs and they're going to be priced at like $100 each, so they're good value. There is something that goes with the NFT platform launch that will bring a lot of people to EverGrow for the first time and a lot of users. What wallets will be used through Lunar Sky? Pretty much anything that you can do a wallet connecting, so all the major wallets. Tell us anything about Lunar Sky. Lunar Sky. So where we are with Lunar Sky dev at the moment. So all the basic functions are working. The UI is looking good. We're still updating the mobile UI. It's still not quite there. What we have to create that is probably going to hold it up by another week or two. And I know no one wants to hear that one. I'm just being honest. Is the mystery boxes. In order for us to do the EverGrow Man promotion and to generate, $1 million plus for buyback and burn, we have to have a mystery boxes feature on the website, and that's a complex thing to build. So that's really what's going to stop us from effectively launching at the end of the week. But again, I'm happy. I know some people aren't happy because they go, well, if the projected launch date or timeline that we were projecting is Q1, then you're late in Q2. Well, you're late if you say that that's a line in the sand, not just a projection or a target. So as far as I'm concerned, if something is, when you talk to devs, they'll say, okay, this is going to cost you between $120,000 and $200,000, and it's going to take between 5 to 9 months. I challenge you, go talk to a dev team about a complex utility, and that's the answer you're going to get. Not, this will cost exactly this much money, and it'll take exactly 3 months. So the mistake is ours to own, but it's also this industry's to start owning. we are an incredibly new industry, and nearly every project in existence, apart from ones who have just bought templated utilities, are having the same problems as us. They feel under pressure to say everything's going to happen within a quarter or 2 quarters, and then they miss deadlines because they realize that development is incredibly unpredictable. And that's, look, guys, that's what's happening at the moment. If, we had some ridiculous stuff yesterday. And I get it. The markets were crashing yesterday. Everyone thinks EverGrow is the only token down. Everything is down. The markets were crashing yesterday. So we get thousands of people saying most ridiculous things. One of them is that we're delaying the utilities so we can wait for the liquidity pool to be unlocked in October, and then we will steal it all. And I replied the same every time, even apparently that's my stock reply. We had $150 million of unlocked Team Wallet at the all-time high. Did we touch it? No. It was unlocked. The Team Wallet was never locked. It was never said it was locked. It was never meant to be locked. And we didn't touch it. Guys, if anyone wanted to steal money from you in the team, we would have just drained the liquidity pool when it was worth $25 million and walked away with that money, okay? That would have been it. We wouldn't wait until October to do that to you. So these theories are ridiculous. Not only that, but I've made videos where I've been holding my mobile phone in my hand using these utilities. You've seen Paul and Cody sharing videos and screenshots, and Frank as well, of them using video chats on Crater. We moved from the question about Crater, what happened with Crater, where are the 1,000 beta testers? Guys, we've answered this question before. We did a lot of testing on V1, and rather than trying to fix V1, as best as possible, there were things that we just didn't like about it. The messaging service was not good. It wasn't smooth. We weren't enjoying using it. We were sending messages between myself, Cody, Frank, Jacob, etc. It just didn't feel good. And we said, look, there's a lot of things about this platform that just don't feel good enough for what we want to produce. We want to produce something that's better than what's out there already, and this is not better. So we said, let's just move straight to a V2 build. Let's forget where we are now. We've tested this enough. It's not good enough. Let's move straight to V2. And a lot of V2 has been done. And then we have to sideline it to really focus everything on NFT. So we have 4 full-time devs at the moment working on the NFT marketplace, working on different sections. Right, so there's lots of new questions. What is the priority to launch? Lunar Sky, 100% is a priority to launch Lunar Sky, to make a lot of money in the first few weeks, to make a huge promotion that's going to put Lunar Sky on the map, and then to do some buyback and burn. What do you think would be a good circulating supply to get down to? We're currently around 472 trillion. A good supply would be just as little as possible. Honestly, we need to get low. Obviously, we just need to keep burning tokens. But we are a serious project in terms of burn, guys. Like average of 60 to 80 billion a day. Okay. Let me just keep running through. When Lunar Sky. Daily revenue projections for Lunar Sky, very difficult. As you say, they're hard to predict. We could swing between the number 10 and the number 1, and the numbers would vary between tens of thousands to tens of millions. So it's very difficult to know where we'll land, but we're very optimistic about the overall quality. But we also think, Lunar Sky is going to need to be improved after it's launched, guys, as well. So this is the idea of doing such a big launch promotion, so we can actually give something back to you as quickly as possible. And then we're going to keep on improving it. We're going to keep on building it. You don't just launch something and say it's done. As we said, we've got this beautiful night mode. We're going to add features. We're going to keep adding things that we maybe haven't got ready for launch. So it's going to be, as with any development, we expect to build up the revenue. If the revenue was $5,000 a day at launch, that would be amazing. I know it doesn't sound glamorous, but that would be unbelievable to actually be generating money. Do you know how many new businesses don't generate money for the first 2-3 years? I talk about tech companies here. So it'd be amazing just to make some money, because one thing I learned in business is once you make your first dollar from a business, that's the challenge. You can spend 2 months on a business and not sell anything, not make anything. We're actually pretty damn lucky. We've got a huge community who are going to tell people about our product. Facebook didn't have that. OpenSea didn't have that. These projects launched from nothing. We're actually in a really, really good position. Is Yeah, the development team is our in-house one for Lunar Sky. Staking, we're just not bothering with staking for now, guys. It's staking for reflections projects is completely pointless. All staking is taking money from some holders and giving it to others. I think people just don't really understand. If you stake and 50% of people are staking, 100% of people are paying for that staking. I don't think it's particularly fair. Again, I would have not put staking on the roadmap, and I'm in no rush to stake. Yeah, markets crash every other day at the moment. I do think this is... there's another good question I'm looking forward to answering after that. I think this is so important. I'd hate to say this. I think even if we had amazing working utilities now, the price would still be down in this awful market. And again, this is really uncomfortable for me to say to people when we've lost so much of our market cap, but it'd be great to launch Lunar Sky while the market cap is still this low, because we could burn 1% of our total supply within a week. That would be unprecedented. That would be huge, to be able to buy trillions of tokens and burn them. We could burn maybe 100 trillion tokens or more. It'd be more than we've managed to burn in months. It'd be really interesting. How do US regulations affect EverGrow? Well, this is going to be controversial. I think it will help us, because I think US regulations, and I don't say this with any glee or any pleasure, but it's something that we strategically plan ahead for. I think they will have a very negative effect on, I hate to say it, but our competition. I think any project that is based in the US and has US-based teams, and this is why sadly I will never be able to be based in the US myself. I'd love to live in the US. It would be a pretty cool place to be in this industry. I think those projects are going to be scrutinized. I think they're going to be generally seen as securities, and I think it may create a lot of issues. There's something else that when we update our branding fairly soon, we're going to remove the word coin from EverGrow. It's just going to be EverGrow, and we'll refer to it as a token. The issue we have that's going to face any project where key personnel are based in the US is once the regulators start catching up with decentralized finance, there's going to be some serious problems. And I really am not saying that because I want it to happen. I'm saying it because I've talked to some really smart people. I've talked to some project leaders, some lawyers, and I do fear the worst. And this is why we are being very, very careful about where we're going to headquarter, and to ensure that none of our management activity actually is taking place in the US, because there are certain criteria, and if you tick a couple of boxes, the SEC will say you're a security, and the SEC will also say you're an unregistered security and you've been breaching our rules for the last however many months. And that's a risk that I think our industry is hitting, and I think a lot of projects will have to pivot, may have to close down. So I hate to say this could be a benefit for EverGrow, but I don't actually want EverGrow to benefit because of other projects having problems like this. I genuinely don't. I want EverGrow to benefit because we've done something good. I don't want to see any crypto investors lose money ever, even the ones who FUD us. I don't like to see people lose money. I've spent my whole career trying to protect investors. Right, sorry, lots here. I'm just trying to go through lots of questions. Don't worry, I'm not in a big rush here. You could have rug pulled long ago. Silly. Yeah, it's true. Of course, we couldn't have rug pulled, actually. We don't have any access to liquidity pool, but yeah, we could have taken our team wallet and sold it in one massive sell and run away, and would have made 20, 30, 40 million dollars in 5 minutes, and you guys would have been screwed, but we didn't do that. So hopefully we've earned your trust. No, EverGrow is not an LLC, and it never will be. Because EverGrow will not be based in the US, and there's something serious changes. The abstract is that we're not giving any tangible updates on the abstract at the moment, but they are doing so damn well. That team are moving forward so quickly. I've invested in them just to be open and straightforward with you guys. I really believe in them, and I think our partnership with them is amazing. So there's something that we've not ever talked about. I think it'd be very, very wise for us to create a stable coin to use for EverGrow that had some basic tokenomics that could go back to buy, back and burn. And this is where this stable coin could be used across everything, across our exchange, in the abstract, all of these things. Let's say there's a 1% tax on it. No one's going to worry about that. So it's pegged to the US dollar, for example. This would be a brilliant way to integrate EverGrow, to benefit EverGrow, and use it viably in the real world whilst putting all that money from that 1%, because again, people don't worry about 1%, they worry about 14%. This is why none of these reflections projects should be seen as a currency. We should only ever operate as a store of value and a means for getting the passive income to the holders. Okay, so there's a little snippet there that we've not talked about, but we've talked about it in the team a lot, and it will happen. Let's go through. Are we going to sponsor UFC? No, but we will certainly do some big sponsorship, but not until we've got something viable to go. We've got to get utilities out. We've got to get some serious money. This is important. Again, I've said this hundreds of times. Projects who spent all their marketing budget don't have any money left. We have enough. One of the questions was like, what's your runtime? Based on how much cash you've got. We can do everything based on the cash we've got. So even though we are behind schedule, if indeed there shouldn't be a schedule really, creating schedules is a mistake of the crypto space, or at least these really short deadlines that people literally write in their diary. April the 1st, if they haven't done it, I'm selling. That doesn't exist in real business. It's an immature thing about crypto. So we have enough money to complete everything to the standard that he's doing, because we didn't waste our money on marketing during this sort of effectively crypto recession, crypto bear market. So we have enough money to keep us going and to do absolutely everything we promised. That's important because effectively, unless you guys need to spend the money you've invested, you know that we can do everything, but we just are struggling with these ridiculously short deadlines. I get it. If someone's selling because they needed that money, then to be honest, they shouldn't have invested that money in the first place. If you know you're going to need money in 2 or 3 months, you don't invest it. You invest money that you're tucking away for 2 or 3 years, and you want to grow and you want to get passive income. So there shouldn't be any real need for people to sell a project, unless of course they believe that nothing exists. But again, we've already shown you like live videos of us using this stuff, not just from us but from members of our team, all logging in, and obviously like links were leaked accidentally through an article where people were able to actually have a go at one of the versions, an older version of Creator. So people actually logged into Creator, created usernames, went on timelines, sent messages to Cody and Frank and Paul. Had a bit of fun on it. That was an older working version. It was unfortunate actually that it was in an article, the link. I don't know how it ended up in there. People know that these utilities exist. They're just not finished. Let me keep going here. I've only got 106 messages. How excited am I about the abstract? I'm super excited. In fact, even from an investment point of view, I'm really excited about the abstract, just as a personal point of view. The questions have all disappeared. Let me wait. I think they come back on the screen eventually. Right, if I touch the screen, the questions disappear. Let me see if I can get them back. Nope. Oh, this is such a rubbish way to do this. Keep typing and hopefully they'll reappear. I don't know why the questions just disappear for like a minute but I've got some other questions here that was sent. When can we get video updates for Lunar Sky? We really hope, as I said, the thing that's the last big job is these mystery boxes. That's the last big job of Lunar Sky, and fixing the mobile UI, because the mobile UI doesn't look good. Right now I can go onto Lunar Sky, I can play that, I can visit lots of pages. There's a few UI issues, but then the mobile UI isn't working. But the last big job before we do the launch is to get the mystery boxes working, because out of the mystery boxes, guys, we can't sell $1 million worth of EverGrow Man, with varying rarity. So obviously we need to start the mystery boxes. Okay, let me. Hold on. Scroll and make some messages appear, Sam. I know, but they just disappear. Someone's asking me about, are there any new partnerships being conceived? I will say, guys, you guys don't always necessarily know where I am, but I had a very face-to-face, very interesting meeting with a fintech company who are, don't get excited, don't start asking me when, but they are building an incredibly exciting fintech. There's so little I can say, but let's just say they're going to integrate crypto into it, and they're interested in EverGrow being within a crypto portfolio. That's all I'm going to say, and that would obviously lead to a lot of EverGrow being bought. Right, where are we? I'm sure by tomorrow people will be saying I don't answer enough questions, but I'm not skipping any here. I'm literally just. What do you think of Scrooge Arcade and Casino? I don't know, but I think there's some great projects out there. I do want to actually have a chat with Scrooge and chat to the leaders there to catch up with them, because I've chatted to the leaders of a few projects, and Scrooge is definitely some guys that I think are probably doing something really cool. How did I become a financial advisor? By doing lots of really boring exams. So I was a private investor, and I ran businesses from a very early age. I was employing 30 people by the time I was at university, and I'd been investing for years. And I decided to get into investment management, I needed to obviously do some qualifications. So I actually did all those exams on my own, studied them in my spare time, and just went and took them while other people were, sitting in university studying for those exams. I just did them while I was running businesses in the evenings. Could we wrap EverGrow for CX trading to simplify the tokenomics and rebase in EGC? I can't really answer that. It's too obscure to answer here. The Team Wallet BUSD, we intend to, I think we announced this a little while ago. We're not going to burn those tokens anymore. We're going to need to be sending a lot of tokens to Simplex once that's up. So we will be buying, so that's good for you guys. We're not going to burn them. We're going to send them to Simplex so they can use them. I think whoever's asking about DigiFinix, just watch the beginning of this. You might have missed the beginning. Yeah, any questions about DigiFinix, watch the beginning of this video. Right, I'm gonna go right to the new messages now, because I think I've pretty much answered. I'm not gonna go further back. So if you've asked a question I haven't answered, just ask it again. What's your favorite biscuit? I don't eat biscuits because I'm gluten intolerant, believe it or not, which is pretty bad. I used to love biscuits. Stablecoin integration is an amazing idea, it is an amazing idea. It's going to be brilliant, because the thing is, if we just create a stablecoin with some very simple tokenomics, like a 1% tax, we can use it across everything, and people will just use it. No one thinks about a 1% fee. It's going to be amazing. It's going to create so much revenue. Let me keep going here. Would love to see Crater logo on a Man U or Man City jersey. That's never happening. Well, maybe if it was for the benefit of the project. Are we going to sponsor Spurs? No comment. Let me just keep going down. I appreciate all the positive comments. I'm just trying to come to the questions. Are the devs still from India? Yep, our core dev team are working on the marketplace. I've been on Crater. It's damn amazing, let me tell you. Thanks, Noah. Yeah, it's cool. It's just not finished. The version that was leaked should not have been leaked. It's not bad. It's not as good as we want it to be, but there's going to be a lot of work to do on Crater next. So, will holders have any advantage to buy EGC before regular non-holders? I don't really understand that question, but there should be no advantage to anyone who's not a holder. Oh, what's the abstract that Sam was talking about? This is so damn cool. Like, the abstract is a business that we've partnered with. The abstract is a virtual reality metaverse space that has incredible partnerships lined up. Basically, you can enter the abstract with VR headphones or just on a computer, but the experience is so much better on the headset. And you can walk around in this world. You can visit EverGrow Exchange. You can Wallet Connect. You can visit the NFT marketplace. You can view NFTs as though you're in a gallery. There's been some videos released. You can see walking around the gallery, and you go up and connect your wallet, and you can view NFTs, etc. Also, obviously, the abstract itself has high quality top gaming on it, a catalogue of amazing games. The abstract is a metaverse, okay? And we've partnered directly to be the currency. So again, this could be where the stable coin comes in, to be the currency and the featured crypto in the abstract. It's pretty damn cool. Let me just keep scrolling down. Explain mystery boxes to people. Okay, so the EverGrow Man collection is... God, I'm a bit tired, guys. You have to excuse me if I'm not answering as smoothly as normal, because I am still kind of recovering from food poisoning. So I think we've produced 15,000 NFTs. I don't know why I keep saying 10,000. I'm sure it's 15,000. Every single one is different, okay? And there are varying degrees of rarity in terms of the assets. So assets are basically what features there are on the image, on the NFT. And some of them feature, a very small number of them feature, for example, SpaceX and Tesla assets on them. So they'll be super rare. So the idea of a mystery box is you don't know what you're getting, because otherwise everyone would just go and buy the most rare ones and we'd have to have different prices. But we didn't want to do it like that. We wanted to give everybody a chance to own one of the super rare NFTs equally. So a mystery box, you might buy a mystery box with just one NFT in it for $100, or we haven't quite finalized the pricing, but let's say you could buy five EverGrow Man NFTs for $400, but you don't know what's in the box until you get it. Okay, so that's what a mystery box is, and that's what we've added. That's what we're adding right now to the marketplace, because it's not a feature that's commonly on all marketplaces. I think it's on Binance's marketplace, but we obviously need that to be there. Okay, the questions. I think I've worked out how to do these questions, guys. This is just such a terrible system. They've disappeared again. Right, let me go to the list. I want to get these questions up, but it just doesn't work. I'm scrolling away on the screen. Clicking messages, yada, yada, yada. Sorry, guys. This isn't me being like some old man who doesn't know how to use an iPhone. It's just, this system is terrible. If you've ever done one of these before, you probably know. Okay. Okay, so I'm fine then. It just suddenly reappear out of nowhere. Okay, what have we got here? More questions. Why do you not support staking? No, I did explain that earlier on. So when you're in a reflections project, staking is just taking resources away from reflections to give to a smaller number of people. The staking rewards have to come, everything in a project has to come from somewhere. Staking rewards have to come from somewhere. And they're just taken from one person invested and given to another. Okay, they don't magically appear. Like, they're just taken from somebody else who's invested and given to somebody else. So staking, when staking is funded through part of the tax, for example, if you choose not to stake, you're still paying for people who choose to stake. Maybe staking's not appropriate for you. Maybe you want more liquidity. I just don't think it's appropriate. Staking is paying rewards to people who hold a token. So is a reflections token. So, and the problem is people dive into launching staking and then they realize they can't guarantee that they can pay for it. This is why staking gets launched and then gets cancelled, because they don't think ahead. You can't stake in reality unless you have a huge, treasury of coins to pay out. And then you could use those coins for something useful. So, staking just doesn't really hold any advantages. Especially for a reflections project. And it's not true staking when it's DeFi anyway. It's not, this isn't mining. We don't mine our projects. Right. Just starting EverGrow on cold wallets. EverGrow on cold wallets, I mean, to be honest, I can't say too much about that, but I'd imagine, you just upload your key phrase onto a cold wallet and then you're offline, you disconnect and they're not going to get hacked. The way I do it, in all honesty, is to put it on a phone that isn't online and then, put that phone either in a safe or actually in a bank safe if you've got enough tokens. So then nobody can get to those tokens. That's the safe way to do it. The fees on Lunar Sky, they're going to be 2.5% or lower. So, and obviously the gas fees are going to be far lower than OpenSea. So we have a big advantage there. Right, let me go to new messages, guys. Yeah, at launch, NFTs will be purchased with BNB at launch, and we'll introduce new currencies, but we don't need to use EverGrow as a currency, so it won't be EverGrow. Pretty crappy AMA, only taking softballs. Okay, Corey USN, give me a hardball and I'll answer your question. Stuff, I'm literally answering every question, guys. When we have the exchange, will there be LP staking to encourage liquidity for trading Pezzo? It's too far off for us to talk about the exchange. Exchange is 5 or 6 months away. No chance of Binance because of tokenomics. Binance may eventually do the manual tokenomics like other exchanges, so I don't think it's completely out of the way. I'm just checking here. Let's see if that guy's actually asked a question here. Go on, ask me questions, like ask me anything. NFT marketplace is just going to be BSC to start with. Multi-chain would be to have it on Ethereum and other chains, but it's just not worthwhile because it's just not in demand. We need BSC marketplaces. Right, here we go. If the contract won't be updated for a long while, can you relock liquidity in October? Technically we can. So let's get to October. I mean, Christ almighty, guys, like, what do you think we're going to do with the liquidity? You can see it. It's locked. We've never touched it. If we wanted to just make money, we'd just sell the team tokens. We don't need to take anything from liquidity. I know everyone's paranoid about liquidity because of things that are happening elsewhere in the industry, but we have open team wallets that are available for you guys to see. Maybe we'll lock on a monthly basis or something like that, but we don't want to complete. There's one thing that we may want to do in the future. This is something that I think I briefly mentioned last time. I think this is a real thing. This is something that I believe would be our innovation, and I know that I have had discussions already. It may be that other projects are now thinking about this, but we could do project consolidations. Imagine if we took two brilliant projects and combined their communities for a contract consolidation, so that effectively, you would, if you had $1 worth of EverGrow and we joined with another great project with a big community, you would come out with a strengthened project and you'd still have $1 worth of the new token, so you wouldn't lose anything. This is the sort of thing that we obviously can't have locked liquidity for, but I actually think that consolidating one or two of the top projects in the space with the best communities would be absolutely amazing, and I would have no qualms about doing that. I've got no ego about doing that. If we could link up with a brilliant community and say, listen, why don't we combine our leadership teams? Why don't we combine our project? Let's just rule this entire market by getting 2 or 3 of the best projects in the space to consolidate into a single contract. Everybody wins. That's one thing we could do with having our liquidity unlocked for. This is why everyone's like, look, the reason you guys it's not too many people. The reason 1 or 2 people are saying lock liquidity is because for some reason you don't trust us after 7 months. That's disappointing, guys. Like, I get it. There's a lot of fear in our industry at the moment, but we could have just taken like tens of millions of dollars from the team wallets, and we didn't. And the liquidity is locked, and it always has been. If you go on PooCoin, you can see which projects have got locked liquidity and which haven't. Okay, there'll be a big red warning on the left-hand side saying this project has not locked their liquidity. So you can see our liquidity's been locked since day one. Right, let me keep going. Sorry, guys. 2 seconds. Okay, go. Top 20 by the end of the year. It would be a big step. I think the reason that meme coins, for example, get so big is because they have no taxes. So and they have like, let's create a token named after Elon Musk's dog, and and get him to retweet a couple of times, and he's suddenly got 1 million holders. We're a serious project. It's not, we are ultimately aiming for that. We are aiming to be a top 20 crypto. I don't think it may happen this year. Like if the NFT marketplace is super successful, we would justify being a top 20, actually quite easily. This is why everyone thinks NFT is not something significant, and they're questioning why we're focusing on NFT rather than creator, because NFT market is huge, and it's also very quick, to get where you want to be. So that's why we're focusing on NFT at the moment. Right, what do we got here? Utilities are pre-built and available to purchase off the shelf. Exactly. Yes, crappy utilities are available to purchase off the shelf. And this is what I've said. You cannot build a utility in less than 3 to 4 months. So you cannot do it. You can either buy a utility, which you white label, and you can probably launch it in 3 or 4 weeks, and it will cost you a few $1,000s, and it will be no better than anything else out there. Or you can say, guys, that we want to create something that's beautiful. We want to get it custom designed by our in-house designers, and then we want to get every single page of it programmed, because you can't take a custom design and insert it onto a white label. That's why you will know that everything we build is completely custom, because you can't just white label. You either buy a white label and you're just restricted by the basic functions that white label has got, and then you launch it and you hope it's successful. But generally, I don't think those projects are successful, because it's just selling something that already exists. Or you go to the real effort and pain of doing things from the beginning. Quite a lot of people have actually asked us about NFT partnerships already, and we've obviously already got a big launch promotion, and partnerships will come from that. So I'm not concerned about the launch or the marketing for the NFT marketplace. I think we've got it nailed. We're not going to tell you too much about it. Obviously, you know about the EverGrow Man collection. Sam and Jacob are on stream with Certic recently. I don't know what that's referring to, but yeah, we've been very close with Certic. Actually, got a good relationship with them. Really cool guys. And Certic do take things seriously. We had a lot of direct conversations with them during the audit. What are we looking at? I don't necessarily seal the questions in order. I don't quite know how. I'll talk about Simplex. The reason that we couldn't get Simplex working is because we need to finalize the last technical elements, which we explained last time, and we also need to have our company registration completed, because we've been trading EverGrow through a marketing company, Praveen's original marketing company that he was running before EverGrow, but we can't do that legally for the project with certain companies, and Simplex is one of them. So we are rushing now to get EverGrow Limited actually registered and open. We're in the process. We've had a lot of back and forth with lawyers. One of the delays on that, because you want to know what delays are, well, welcome to the real world. One of the delays is that there is almost no bank on the planet that wants to deal with a company whose revenue is generated via crypto. And obviously our marketing wallet is paid to us in BUSD. Now we tried to transfer that BUSD into a bank, and because of anti-money laundering laws, they're going to say, where does this BUSD come from? We'll say, it's on the blockchain. And they'll say, what? It's where? This is the problem. So all these little things are because we're in an innovative industry, and we are doing things that have never been done before. And these things you just can't change an entire industry overnight. Would I agree EverGrow has survived largely on hype? No, I wouldn't. I'd say EverGrow's survived because those people who are sensible enough to know how to invest understand that you invest in the team and you invest in the vision. And then the team provide you updates. Everything we provided is real. Like when we provided videos of the UIs and click-throughs and showing you what things are going to look like, what they're going to work, that's not hype. That's showing you what we're building. Hype would be to the moon, all this bullshit, which we never did. We never said to the moon. We never said, we're going to 100x. We never did any of that stuff. That's hype, okay? We said, look, this is what we're building. These are what the designs look like. This is where we are. We're sorry they're a bit late. That's just called being honest and running a business. If the community get excited about it, which we hope they do, then they can hype us. But as a team, we've never hyped anything. Right. What are the 75 members in the team working on? We have 75 community members. They're the people that have to deal with the stuff like yesterday. I mean, please don't abuse our community members, because, half of them at least are volunteers, and they get really upset when they're getting attacked by some anonymous account in Telegram or the Reddit, which sounds like it's a very toxic place to be. So please understand that our community team, a lot of them are salaried and a lot of them aren't, but they all work really hard. They all care about you guys. Nobody else has 75 people providing customer support in a crypto. When I say there's 75 people, they're the ones who work in our community team, okay? Right, what else we got? What will bring in new investors that visit the site? Well, look, we are actually getting new investors every day, and a lot of projects flatlined, and we're still adding a few hundred new investors a day. But we're not going to just change the roadmap, but we are going to provide a big overall update soon, okay, in terms of the website. So again, I do understand that question. Could we just go back retrospectively and completely change the roadmap? Yeah, I guess we could, but I think we'll do something a bit better than that. What have we got? Simplex update. I just did a Simplex update. I don't know when that message came in, but like 1 minute ago, I did a Simplex update. So you'll have to watch the video. I also answered this question: are we done coming up with new additions to the NFT marketplace? The last thing that we needed to add related to the EverGrow Sam promotion was these mystery boxes. Could you touch on your contract failing to distribute LPs and how this affects the tokens? I'm reading it out because it's one of those questions that people might read and go, "Oh, Sam's going to avoid this." I've got no idea what that question means. Our contract doesn't distribute LPs, or maybe you could help explain the question a bit better, and I'll do my best with that. Or maybe it's one for the devs. But our contract distributes obviously rewards, and the LP is locked. Maybe you understand that more than me. Remember, I'm not a dev. Right. Corey, I saw some hard questions asked that haven't been addressed. Corey, will you just ask the question? Give me a hard question, man. Let's all sit quietly while Corey asks me a hard question. Yeah, thanks, Rideshare. I'm struggling here. I'm leaning forward, trying to read off an iPhone all the questions. There's been 300 or 400 questions. I'm trying to answer everyone. Again, like this is a bit like Twitter. I spent an hour answering a troll yesterday on Twitter. You know, I don't avoid the hard questions. I could have just blocked the guy. Eventually I did, because he basically said that Paul and Cody and Frank had literally faked videos of them using Crater. I don't know how we would have done that. We'd have had to get Steven Spielberg in the 90s to create the CGI of them sat in front of their computers videoing their screens. But, you know. Can you fix the claim rewards button? I didn't know that doesn't work, so I'm going to feed that back. Still can't see this question from Corey, so we'll move past that. Let's just move past that. I will try to answer every question I can. Okay, ask me some more questions. I think we've come to the bottom. Oh, Paul says it works, so maybe it's just an issue you're in, but reach out to Paul, Cody, and Frank, and they'll help you. Someone just said, "Where's Corey?" I felt so bad. I'm always really tired when we do these things, and I called Cody Corey. I still don't know why. Don't say Corey, because you're going to get me confused. I'm like an old man here. Rheumatics maybe introduce a reward program for people who don't sell. I don't believe in that, guys. This is investing. You get rewards for not selling. They're called rewards, okay? The longer you hold, the more rewards you get. We're not doing anything that's manipulating the price or anything like that. If people want to sell, they can sell, okay? That's fine. If people want to buy more, they can buy more. My job is to make the project successful so people don't want to sell, okay? So I'm not going to do anything that locks people in or encourages people to be locked in. This is another reason why I don't really agree with staking. I'm a traditional investor, and we're trying to bridge the market so we can seize the 98% of investment funds out there that aren't dedicated to crypto. You know, we are a tiny fraction of the global equity market in crypto, and we need to make ourselves more attractive to the bigger money. You know, a couple of trillion in crypto and 100 trillion in the rest of the market. This is why we need to stop doing things like this. Real markets don't stop people from selling. They don't try and discourage people from selling. They just say, you know, like, do the job properly and we won't sell. And I guess that's the pressure on us right now. With no utility timeliness, investors are fearful. Not giving timeline is fine to a certain... I get it. But again, we're a startup. And I've explained at the beginning of this video that, you know, the project was rethought. At the end of December, we announced completely new roadmap with things that you'd never heard of. That was, you know, 4 months ago. And we've started building everything. We just can't tell you to the day when things are going to be built. You know, it's like asking an artist to say, when is that painting going to be ready? And except far more complicated. I mean, the wallet, okay? The wallet has 107 pages, okay? Effectively 107 screens involved in the wallet alone, okay? Every single one of those needs to be linked to others. Every single one of those has dozens of links, has smart contracts behind it, etc., etc. This is just an example. So you, as I said, if you go to a development company and you say to them, build me a wallet, they will say that wallet's going to cost you 200 grand and it will take us between 4 and 7 months to build, or something like that. They will not say, right, on the 1st of April it's going to be finished, and if it isn't, sue us, blah, blah, blah. You will not get a development team who will agree to that contract, okay? Simple as that. So the problem is, like, sometimes I wonder, like, why people are so obsessed with these deadlines, and then I start to think, I think the people who are obsessed with the deadlines aren't actually, true EverGrow investors. They're people who want to pump the price and then dump as soon as they get a good profit. And that's not what we want. We want people who are going to hold for 5 years, 10 years, have life-changing growth. Not just the first time we launch utility and we get a 50% or 100% spike in price that they're going to dump. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like everyone bugging us on timelines actually is more concerned about just taking a quick profit because they're immature investors. They've seen a few people 100x on a crypto, and that's all they're interested in. They need to learn how to invest. Investing is a long-term thing. Investing doesn't matter like if you invest and there's a little delay. Someone who made 3,000% return on Tesla, it took years to get there, okay? And everything was late. Everything was late. Everything Elon Musk said. There was a joke that Elon Musk's 2 weeks was 2 years. You Google 2 weeks Elon Musk and you'll realize that, there was a joke about it. Now, we're not doing that on purpose. We talk to the devs. We ask them for timelines. They feed back. And we say to the community, we really hope we'll be able to drop this thing in 10 days, and then something goes wrong or something gets more complicated and we can't do it. It's not because we want to, it's because development is damn hard and there is no way to do it. And the number of messages I get and tweets who say, why don't you just launch the NFT marketplace, man? And as I said, like what happened in the markets yesterday, that would have happened anyway. We don't control. It wasn't our NFT marketplace that made the biggest asset in crypto lose tens of billions of dollars. So all I'm saying is, this is real, okay? If you're an investor, this stuff shouldn't bother you. If you just want to sell EverGrow anyway, but just wait until there's a spike in the price, then I'm not here to serve you, to be honest. I'm here to serve true EverGrow investors. Short-term traders and come and go, they can do what they want. I want to build a community of maybe 1 million investors who hold this project, for years and have life-changing passive income from it. Would you say you were overly ambitious with the timelines you gave for utilities? Yes, 100%. I wish we'd never given a timeline. But if we hadn't, people would say, oh, there's no timeline, we don't want to invest. We've got to be realistic, guys. And the only people who seem to understand this to some degrees, and I'm not saying this to criticize, are people who have worked with developers before, maybe people who work for big companies, and they're like, oh, God, yeah, I work for this massive tech company, and everything's behind schedule, But what you don't see is the Twitter price falling 30% because they haven't produced something, or Apple. I was saying to our guys earlier on, when Apple are developing their iPhones, and let's be honest, they built a lot of the things in the past, they should have a pretty clear idea. The reason they don't announce when they're going to announce is because they will only announce the product when it's finished. In crypto, if I said we're not even going to announce our roadmap until it's finished, you guys would never have got involved in a project in the first place. Whereas, Apple don't tell you what the next iPhone is going to be like and when it's going to be launched until it's completely finished and ready to sell. Okay, so there's the difference. But their investors still invest in them because they believe that something good is coming up, and they will wait for Apple to dictate the timeline based on how long it took to make that product and when it was ready. Right, let's keep going. It's okay, let's not have a go at Corey, but I am doing my best to answer all questions. Right, crypto.com, etc. Yeah, we're going to keep working on the big exchanges. Like it takes a lot of work to get listed on an exchange, believe it or not. I mean, it can take weeks, if not months. So right now we're not super focused on it. We are going to get Bitmart tokenomics working, and there's going to be a big promotion with that. So that should help with the disappointment that we're suffering at the moment with DigiFinex. Right, let me keep going here. Thank you for answering. No, of course, I've never hidden from any question, guys. There's nothing to hide in this project. Any new exchange listing coming? We are working on stuff, but again, it can take weeks to get a new exchange lined up. So give us a little time on that. Oh, I'd love to sponsor Spurs players. It's okay. I've had meetings with Tottenham Hotspur. Okay, I can say that. It's an incredibly high bar. I have the contact. EverGrow aren't ready for them yet, but it was a very positive meeting. This is the first time I've ever said this, but it was a very positive meeting. And when we are ready, we'll have another meeting. But they were very honest with us. And they're partners. They have 4 or 5 major partners, including HSBC Bank. They don't have any other partnerships. They are very, very selective. But I will say that there was some serious interest in crypto and in NFTs. That's all I can say. But I'm not making any big statements beyond that. I can just say that they were very gracious in giving us time, and it was a very positive meeting. And we have agreed to speak in the future. So there's a bit of a bomb drop for you all. I mean, getting a Premier League football sponsorship would be the biggest thing that's happened to any project in our space. It would be ridiculous. They can have 400 or 500 million people watching a match globally, depending on the game. All right, let's go. Yes, I did explain the DigiFinix issue. This will be recorded so you can watch it from the beginning. BB&B from Bitmart in the works. Yes, we're gonna try to get Bitmart to integrate tokenomics, and that will generate funds for buyback and burn. But let's not get too excited about that yet. But again, it will happen. God, Sam, not answering my question. Sam, are you and the dev team on the same page? I haven't seen Jacob or... we had a meeting an hour before this. We are on the same page, if not... Although we're not in the same country, which would be pretty cool if we were. Any thoughts ever given to a minor utility of sorts? No, I think we just focus on the big stuff for now. Again, it's, we're going to just keep creating these standalone companies. Spurs and EGC, my wet dream. Yeah, me too. I won't give up on that, but again, I don't want to make any silly promises about it now. It's something I will pursue when we are big enough to talk about it, okay? Affiliate with Arsenal if you want to be seen in the Champions League. Let's see how this weekend goes. Yeah, I can assure you that Praveen and Jacob are working very hard. I've talked to those guys. I know we'd like to see them a little bit more on the socials, but they do work hard. Yeah, we'll be one of the first NFTs on BSE, not the only one. Please do a better AMA so we can articulate questions better. We just articulated a sentence there, but you weren't able to articulate a question. How else can you articulate a question without writing it down? Sorry, I'm not meaning to be sarcastic, but I'm quite tired. Have you got any idea of the target daily volume for Lunar Sky? We were asked that earlier on. As I said before, it depends how successful we can get there. But OpenSea had a $500 million record day about a week ago. Who owns the standalone companies? The standalone companies will all be owned by the parent company, EverGrow Limited. Are you drinking Earl Grey? No, just those pyramid ones. Is it Tetley? Tetley, always drink Tetley. Yeah, we will definitely launch something in Q2. We'll launch Lunar Sky. We're not that far off. Yeah, the community leaders were taking questions all day, and I think I've answered a lot of them. Let me go through the list that we were sent earlier, just make sure I haven't really... why is Verimap not updated? We've answered that. Why did you pivot away from Creator? We answered that. Did the billboards gain more investors? We've addressed it. It wasn't particularly great. I don't believe in billboards and that kind of thing, especially during a bear market. It was a cool thing to have. I don't think it harmed us. I think it did get us more investors, but not a great deal. Can you estimate real dates for releasing products? No, I mean, effectively when they're ready, we'll tell you, but we are pushing, and Lunar Sky genuinely is not that far off. I know we've been saying it for a while, but the problem, so devs will tell you this, I can't remember where I saw this recently, but a major company, someone involved in a major company said it. The first 90% of developing something, ironically, takes about the same amount of time as the last 10%, because the last 10% is when you're fixing all the bugs from the thousands of pages of code. So that's the problem. It's very unpredictable when you get to the last stage. You can go on Lunar Sky now and it looks like it's ready. But, you know, the devs have said, no, it's not, Sam. There's a lot of stuff in the background we're still working on, but it's a big complex thing. Can you get a video presentation of the utilities rather than screenshots? Again, please follow my Twitter. We've done that for all of the utilities. Again, another question, the same, like you want to see Lunar Sky in action and also Crater. We released loads of videos of Crater in action before we moved over to Lunar Sky. The community team are going to do a few short days of testing Lunar Sky, so it's not going to be like a really long process because it's not as complex as Crater. And I will give them permission to like openly share videos with you, but we're not that far off. As I said, the desktop version without the mystery boxes should be ready in a few days, and then we'll let them sort of do basic things like minting and selling. So, you know, Cody, Frank and Paul can, you know, sell NFTs to each other. We'll give them a little budget for it, and we'll let them show you guys some videos. But just, I don't know. Like, I've asked, the devs are working on some UI problems and some other issues, and then they'll deploy it. When that's fixed, we'll let the guys go loose on it. They can share some videos, and then during the next like week or two, they're going to get the mystery boxes feature, and then we're ready to launch. And then anything else can be done post-launch in a V2, and we will keep working on that really hard as well. Right, I've answered all the questions that were on the long list I was sent from the community, so I hope I haven't left anything out. Get some Welsh tea down, yeah. Maybe I will. I'm not sure which Welsh tea's out there for me. Sorry, someone asked about a VC investment. I don't think that makes any difference. And unless someone buys it on Pancake, so we can't really have VC investment. Yeah, this is a very good question. Since the utilities have a parent company, will it be possible to list on the stock market? Yes, it will. Okay, this could be pretty cool, remember, everything that's made ultimately from everything. Like, why do you think we're creating separate brands for everything? It means that, and there'll be a parent company, but, you know, these other utilities will be listed companies themselves, and this gives us some real interesting opportunities. LLC is just the kind of US name. Maybe it's used outside in other countries, but obviously I'm from Britain. So we're not going to be an LLC because we're not going to be US registered. Listen back to the beginning of the AMA if you want to know why we are avoiding being a US based project. You're very welcome for the AMA. Tesla, SpaceX, we're not doing anything that infringes on copyright, and also Tesla and SpaceX are open in terms of using branding and things like that, so we don't have rights for them because we don't need them. Yes, EverGrow is my full-time job. Right, let me keep going here. The 700K, it's a good question on the play to earn games. Bear in mind we've partnered with a gaming, effectively a gaming, not necessarily a gaming company directly, but they're obviously in the gaming industry. Play to earn game is on the sideline at the moment. The 700K is obviously covering everything that we're actively working on. And also, obviously, we continue to generate revenue, but we have a lot of outgoings every month, paying community and marketing, etc. And also a lot of costs for exchanges. Please keep yourself healthy. I appreciate that, guys. I am okay. I've just literally was wiped out for a few days with food poisoning. Okay. Dubai, you know, we've explored Dubai. We've also explored some other areas. Dubai's not necessarily going to be the ultimate destination. We can talk more about that. Again, as I said, we're going to have multiple companies registered. Do I think Crater will be the catalyst? No, I think Lunar Sky will be the catalyst. I think Crater will follow up. No, with Lunar Sky, we're going to launch with a promotion that will attract NFT artists. We're not launching the NFT website in the same way that we're going to launch Crater. We don't really need high-profile NFT artists for that launch. Why do some projects make a V2? So that means why do they launch a new contract? Generally, it's because their contract either has a security issue or it isn't doing what they need it to do for their roadmap. And when we wrote the roadmap and when we revised the roadmap, we obviously had to take into consideration our contract. Upgrading a contract is a pain for everybody. And a lot of investors end up losing out, or they don't do the migration correctly, or they forget to do the migration, or they don't see the notifications, or they're just a passive investor, they're not on the socials. I'm sure at some point in the future we will have a new contract, but you don't want to have a new contract soon in a project. It just ruins confidence. It creates a lot of confusion. You want to try to last as long as possible. We've had zero need for a new contract. Our contract has been absolutely flawless. This is something that I don't think our devs get anywhere near enough credit for how damn good the contract has been since launch. How after will we have AMAs? I'll try and do one of these AMAs like every 10 days. That's what I'm able to commit to, because it's a couple of hours, it's the evening, I'm pretty tired, and we do work pretty much flat out. And also, there's no point doing them too regularly, because I want to be able to give you some concrete updates. Will the EverGrow NFT only be an NFT, or will they gain access to products or future VIP events? Maybe there's something going on with our big competition that we haven't announced. So the EverGrow NFTs, there will be a pretty cool reason beyond how good they are for buying them. This is why we're very, very confident. Like, I think they would sell anyway. $100 each for a piece of EGC history, and they're nice. We're not selling some piece of crap for $250,000. We're selling actually a really nice 3D high quality NFT for $100 that marks with the opportunity to get a rare asset. So I think they'd sell without any promotion, but we are going to do a promotion just to make sure that everything gets sales. And when they do get sold, that's going to have a huge impact. And if we can burn, what would it be? I'm so tired. What would, $1 million worth of, someone type it in the box, what would $1 million buy you, right? How many EGC would that buy you right now? Because that's how many we can burn. Okay, what have we got? No more questions. There you go. So several trillion, 4 trillion, that's a lot, guys. That would be equivalent of 50 days of buyback and burn. That's crazy. That would be really cool. And again, it just gives us momentum. It's not going to be all the things. It's not going to be the only thing we do. We can use the NFT marketplace for ongoing promotions like this. Bear that in mind, guys. If every 4 to 6 weeks we could generate another $1 million just from a promotion, it's some serious opportunity. This is why the NFT marketplace, I just don't think people understand why we're focusing on it. It has so much more potential in the short term. In the longer term, I do agree that Creator has a lot of potential. But in the short term, NFT marketplace, and in the long term, NFT marketplace. Right, any more questions, guys? Maybe we'll do a few more. Do you think our contract fights against us in down markets? I think that probably is asking about the fact that you have to sell EverGrow to get the EGC. To get the BUSD. I think there is an element that it can create, bear in mind it's not a huge percentage, but it does obviously create a little bit of selling pressure to get the rewards, but then it also prevents people from selling their EverGrow if they need money, if they're accumulating BUSD. How often are the burns? The burns are at the moment, every few days. We're not, like, when volume's high, we do them every day, but I think is it safe? Mark burn tracker is pretty good, and you can see every time there's been a burn, you can track on there.